No one has more state pride than New Mexicans. The vibrant culture, bold flavors, unique history, and dramatic landscapes under our Zia sun are like no other. And the people of New Mexico are a rare breed. As diverse as we are, together we breathe life and soul into this high desert land, a land that promises adventure. I'm Michael Newman, and as your host, I'll be taking you with me as I seek out the best the Land of Enchantment has to offer.
New Mexico, it feels like home to me. It feels so true. It's time well spent when I spend it with you.
Thanks for tuning in for another episode of New Mexico True Television. I'm your host, Michael Newman. In this episode, we're exploring the wonders of the Chama Valley. By boat, by train, and by horseback, we take on the waters and wilderness of this majestic region. One of the most striking and defining features of the Chama area are the dramatic Brazos Cliffs. After a 2-hour drive north from Santa Fe, these peaks will greet you as soon as you enter the Chama Valley on Route 64. These cliff faces also serve as the backdrop for Fishtail Ranch, an outdoorsman's perfect getaway nestled right along the Brazos River, where I will be indulging in a couple of favorite pastimes for folks visiting Chama: fly fishing and horseback riding. First, I set out with the ranch's fly fishing guide, Bill, who will be giving me some hands-on instruction for fishing the Brazos River. The Rio Brazos is home to both brown and rainbow trout, which I am hoping to see much of today. Even if I don't catch a fish, just the view of the river coming down with the sun, you don't get this many places.
I know, it is spectacular. The water that we have here comes straight out of the high mountains. Right. So it's cold all summer. It's fun just to be here, whether you catch fish or not.
Yep, you're right. You can get lost just listening to it.
There's a good little spot right here we can start.
Okay.
And what I've put on your rod is a generic floating fly. It's called a royal wolf, and it's good because you can see it. Fish can see it. The fish tend not to be real picky here because they're hungry.
They'll bite for anything.
We hope. That's what we're counting on.
Right.
Their gullibility. Good fly for beginning fishermen because it does float really well and you can see it and doesn't require a lot of fancy technique or explanation.
Well, listen, I've been working on my technique. I wouldn't say I'm a professional now, but I know what to do with a fly.
See if we can't find a fish in here.
Let's do it.
But I can tell you a little bit about, I know it's not your first time, but tell you a little bit about where you might look for fish.
Okay.
In a small river like this.
Yeah.
Because I know you've been to the San Juan.
Yeah, I've been to the
That's
San
a
Juan.
big,
It's a huge,
massive river with fish everywhere. These smaller streams, you have to look at likely places where fish are going to be. And here's a good example right here of where fish are going to like to be. There's some quiet water below, some tumbling water, and they like to lay in there next to where the calm water and the current comes together.
okay.
And they find a comfortable place where the food comes by. Here the fish aren't used to seeing people.
Okay.
So we try not to just slosh through everywhere.
Try to be more invisible.
Try to be more invisible and more quiet.
It's good. We don't want to disturb the fish.
No.
While I've only fly fished a few times, one thing I know for certain: every river is unique, and it's great to have a guide show you the secrets and nuances of each river. After some success at this spot, Bill decides to take me to another place further up the river. I learned that private landowners have worked with New Mexico Game and Fish to have this next location open to the public, which in an area like Chama with so many private landowners, it's good to know making spaces accessible to the public is a priority. And what a gorgeous spot it turns out to be. Turns out there's some new tricks to be learned at this location, but thankfully, I've got the perfect instructor, and I get lucky not once, but multiple times.
There he goes again, putting on a clinic. Too hard. There he is. Oh, there he goes.
When you're on a roll like this, it's hard to leave, but the team back at the ranch is already saddling up horses to hit the trails. Fishtail Ranch has a number of beautiful horses and one for every kind of rider. They will get you paired up with a horse that matches your level of experience and comfort level, and you're ready to go. I'm headed out today with some folks from the ranch. They're Wrangler Randy, Samantha, and Heather, who's fairly new to Chama and excited to share her fast-growing love of this area.
Hello there.
On horseback, we weave and wind our way through the lush landscape of this mountain valley, and every now and again getting a glimpse of the Brazos Cliffs, more than 2,000 feet over our heads. These magnificent mountains are composed of 1.8 million-year-old granite, and they have been a defining feature of the area for time immemorial. On the ride, I learned more than just geographical history, but the backstories of some of my fellow riders. Heather recently moved here to be with her boyfriend and his parents, Valerie and Lee, longtime residents of the area and owners of Fishtail Ranch. Love brought her here, and love of this place and its beauty is taking hold very quickly. I can certainly relate. After a satisfying and leisurely ride, we come to a meadow where Valerie and Lee have prepared a picnic lunch for us. And what do you know? The Brazos Cliffs are the backdrop for this meal. Is this really how people up here get to spend their days? It's unbelievable. So Lee, how long have you been here?
I've been here for 14 years now, and I've been coming up here for a little over 30 years elk hunting, and that was sort of my passion and area. So that's what drove me up here was the outdoors and the mountains and the elk hunting.
And what about you, Valerie? What's your favorite thing about this area?
We came to spend a winter. We had a second home here, and we came to spend a winter and see if I would like the area. And there was not a day all winter that we weren't outdoors doing something.
And you guys have kind of really established yourselves here to be a center for activity because, like you said, you have no choice but to be active when you're out here, right?
That's why we're here.
There's something to do different every single day. I have to say, the folks at Fishtail definitely do it up right. And I am one lucky man to have spent the day with them on the Brazos. For your visit at Fishtail Ranch, here's some things to consider. Fishtail Ranch backs up to the Brazos River in Chama, 2 hours north of Santa Fe. Other fun summer activities offered at the ranch include outdoor skills adventures and cowgirl boot camp. Fishtail Ranch is known for their elk hunts, archery or rifle hunts, guided hunts, and drop camps. There's no shortage of options. Don't go away, a day on the water is calling. And now from our Cabinet Secretary of Tourism, Monique Jacobson, here is another New Mexico true treasure.
My family and I took a trip to Chama to ride the Cumbres and Toltec train. And while that was a wonderful adventure, what we found to be one of New Mexico's greatest treasures was just spending time outdoors. There's something special that happens to kids, and quite frankly, adults, when we head out into nature. We become explorers, adventurers. We're able to disconnect in order to reconnect. The beauty in the Chama area is breathtaking. It's at the same time awe-inspiring and serene. Like much of New Mexico, I think you'll be surprised by the different landscapes you see as you travel throughout our entire state. To learn more about this adventure and all of our outdoor treasures, visit us at newmexico.org.
Heron Lake is just 10 miles south of the town of Chama and sits nestled amidst the ponderosa pines of the Chama Valley. This reservoir has been designated as a no-wake or quiet lake, which means that while motorboats are allowed, they may only move at trolling speeds so as not to create a wake on the lake. This makes for a peaceful experience, and for me, the serene nature of this quiet lake beckons to be experienced by kayak. Getting an early start, the water looks like glass, and I'm able to have the lake all to myself. Panoramic views of the pine bluffs and Brazos Cliffs in the distance make a great backdrop for my meditative rowing exercise. I'd had just enough time to get lost in my thoughts and do a bit of daydreaming when I run into some other kayakers out on the water. With my newfound friends, I start paddling towards the cliff face near the dam. No sooner do we reach the rocky wall than we are engulfed by the sounds of the swallows flying overhead. It is truly spectacular and just one more enchanting element of Heron Lake. While the waters are calm now, this lake is known for its great summer breezes that bring windsurfing and sailing aficionados to its shores. In fact, Heron is the home base for the New Mexico Catamaran Club. And more often than not, you'll spot them cutting through the water flying hull on their Hobie Cats. There's nothing like seeing a bunch of colorful sails speckled against this landscape. But I have to say, for now, I'm happy to have these waters all to myself. And as magnificent as Heron Lake is, it's not the only attraction at this state park. There's some great hiking to be had here as well. And now that I've had my upper body workout, it's time to stretch my legs and hit the trail. So I head to the Rio Chama Trailhead. This 5-mile primitive trail actually connects Heron Lake State Park to neighboring El Vado Lake State Park. And as tempting as it is to follow the length of the trail to El Vado Lake, I'm in this for the dramatic views and getting to the suspension bridge this trail is known for. Suspension bridges like this are great. You feel like you are truly bounding across the bridge and over the Rio Chama no less. Heron Lake State Park does not disappoint. When you're ready to hit the water, here's some tips for Heron Lake State Park. Heron Lake is just 20 miles south of the town of Chama and just under 2 hours north of Santa Fe. Camping, hiking, fishing, and sailing are among the many activities you may enjoy at Heron Lake. And keep in mind, Heron Reservoir is a designated quiet lake where motorboats may operate at no more than a trolling speed. Now, how do you go from New Mexico to Colorado 11 times in one day? Stay tuned to find out. Need a reason to hit the road? Find upcoming events around the state at newmexico.org. And now from the pages of New Mexico Magazine. Chama sits in the very northern reaches of the state, just 2 hours northwest of Santa Fe. One of the biggest draws of Chama is the Cumbres and Toltec Scenic Railroad. The longest and highest narrow-gauge steam railroad in the country, the Cumbres and Toltec Railroad cuts through some of the most majestic terrain in our state and makes for an unforgettable day trip. Today's scenic railroad for visitors to Chama owes much to its predecessor, the Denver and Rio Grande Railway. Incorporated in 1870, the D&RG Railroad was responsible for laying the track through this rugged mountainous terrain. When the D&RG Railroad made its way to Chama in 1880, the town was a hodgepodge of tents and log and slab cabins. With a number of hotels, restaurants, and saloons, the few buildings in town operated in what today's language would be known as the hospitality industry. So it would be fair to say that the Chama of yesteryear does have some similarities to the town you'll find today. It knows how to cater to its visitors and those just passing through. And always, at the heart of it all, is the railroad. I am definitely excited to experience this journey through time. And I arrive at the station early to check out the scene before the other passengers arrive. There's a lot of preparation that goes into getting this train on the tracks. The train is loaded up with coal, and the engineers fire up the engine to get it hot and ready to produce the steam necessary to make the train go. All aboard! Over the course of 6 hours, this locomotive weaves and winds its way through the mountain and passes of northern New Mexico, and crosses the border of Colorado a total of 11 times before the ride ends in Antonito, Colorado. From the comfort of your rail car, or from the open gondola that once carried coal, ore, gravel, and other freight, you can take in the views of the unspoiled and stunning landscape that engulf this narrow railroad track. So Bob, tell me about this railroad and how it was started.
It was actually incorporated in 1870 by a Civil War general. His name was William Jackson Palmer. And the initial idea was to go from Denver all the way down to El Paso, and then eventually go to Mexico City. And as you see here, this whole line basically was the opening of the West.
Right.
And of course the scenery is unmatched.
Why do you think it's important to preserve and interpret, the Cumbres and Toltec Railroad?
Well, if we start to forget our past, we won't know where we're going in the future. I mean, Wyatt Earp rode this road. Bat Masterson, John Henry Doc Holliday rode this train. So there's a lot of stuff like that, and it just keeps on going.
What brought you to the railroad specifically?
Heard it was real scenic and a really nice ride, day trip. We decided to forego the big trip to come and do a lot of smaller trips around the state. And so we've been doing that, and this was one of the highlights for us to come ride the railroads. So. Yeah. And I don't believe a lot of people outside the state realize that we have as much forest land as we do here in the state. I think they kind of picture it as being sort of deserty, at least the people I talk to. But yeah, there's a lot of forestry here. You know, this is beautiful. So New Mexico has a little bit of everything to offer, you know, a little bit of every landscape.
So Weston, you're having fun on the train?
Yeah.
Yeah? What's your favorite thing about the train?
Riding on it.
Yeah. Are you having fun so far?
Yeah.
What made you guys come to the train?
I used to watch videos of this train.
This actual train.
When I was little, yeah.
Wow. How does it feel being here on the actual train?
Pretty cool.
You hardly notice the time passing by as the train carves its way through this mountainscape. But before you know it, the train pulls into Osier where they have a hot lunch ready for you. After a satisfying lunch, the train lulls some of the little ones to sleep. But Weston and I are both wide awake, and it turns out this 5-year-old is a great traveling companion. Something about embarking on a journey like this at a nice leisurely speed, taking in the sights without a care in the world, really brings people together. This is definitely a trip for the traveler in us all. When planning your journey on the Cumbres and Toltec Railroad, here are some tips. The historic railroad depot is in the center of Chama, 2 hours north of Santa Fe and just shy of the Colorado border. Half-day and full-day excursions are available from late May through October. Kids ride free. 1 kid for every adult rides free May through September. Lunch fees apply. And check out their season pass. For more great stories like this from New Mexico Magazine, visit newmexico.org. Coming up, we discover what glamping is all about. Find steals and deals for your next New Mexico vacation at newmexico.org. Today I've signed up for a rafting trip down the Chama River with Los Rios River Runners. A tributary of the Rio Grande, the Chama River is 130 miles long, and the stretch we will be floating begins below the El Vado Dam, just over 100 miles north of Santa Fe. I'm not the only one treating myself to this experience this weekend. The river guides from Los Rios pick up a whole slew of us eager travelers in Abiquiu, where we set off for our launch point. I need to let you in on something. This is not your typical rafting trip. This is a glamping trip. For those of you just hearing the term, it's short for glamorous camping. Camping with a hint of indulgence. And this is a first for me. Here's how it works. By day, we get to raft down the Rio Chama, with our river guide doing all the work paddling for us. And then our guides set up a luxurious comfort camp for us to while away the evening hours. That's right, they bring and pack all the provisions, they provide all the labor, so all we have to do is, well, enjoy. As you may have guessed, no one had to twist my arm to get me on board this raft and sign me up for this once-in-a-lifetime experience. The Rio Chama is one of America's most beautiful wild and scenic rivers. And on this rafting trip, it would take us through Chama Canyon, the Santa Fe National Forest, and the Chama River Canyon Wilderness. It is rare to have a wilderness experience like this on the river, and I'm grateful to have our guide Patrick usher us through these waters so we can take it all in. Patrick, do you know any interesting facts about this river?
Yeah, people did homestead out along this river. They did live along this river. They ran timber down it. There's another ghost town that's, I'm going to say about 5 miles down here, and I'm not sure of the name of it, but it's up on one of these bluffs, and you hike up there, and there was obviously an operation up there of some sort.
And my fellow traveler Steve's sense of adventure convinces us we need to check it out. It feels good to get off the raft and exercise our legs, and the remnants of these homes on the edge of the cliffs make for a picturesque and curious pit stop. Nothing like following a whim while traveling and stumbling across a place lost in time. While it's likely these people were sheep herders, the who, how, and why they lived up here is a mystery.
I mean, those folks had to be rugged.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, to make it in this land, man, it's crazy.
Interesting tales.
Yeah, I bet.
Faith and struggle and hardship and perseverance and
that's all
the whole ball of wax.
Yeah, that's all New Mexican history, you know. That's how people lived. That was part of the whole thing of moving to the west, to New Mexico.
Oh, yeah.
Humans weren't the only inhabitants of this landscape, though. The next time we dock, Patrick promises a trip further into this area's history.
All right, guys, come on up this way. There's some interesting dinosaur tracks. Watch your steps, a little slippery. Yeah, it's a sandstone wash, a lot of sedimentary, millions of years of it. And
on this hike, we're on the lookout for dinosaur tracks. Yes, we are actually walking in the footsteps of dinosaurs. Did I tell you we're on an adventure? Good thing we're with Patrick and he knows where to look because the rains and wash have covered the tracks.
I want to say this is probably the first impression. And let's be really gentle because it is sandstone. Yeah. And so, yeah, this is the first impression. And the other one is, I'm going to say right over here, and then there's a third one.
And what type of dinosaur was this?
I've heard that it is of a T-Rex, Allosaurus type of. As you can tell, it's a fairly large print.
Boy, this is a big one. Kind of just frozen in time right here.
Here's a really defined one right here.
Are you an archaeologist on the weekend?
Yes, I am. I wear lots of hats. Toe, 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 heel.
Oh yeah. That is massive.
Well, I don't know what happens now. Honestly, where do you go after discovering dinosaur tracks? Oh, that's right. I get to lounge in the sunshine on the raft without a care in the world and have the ultimate vacation. Stunning views and scenery, fresh air, and the gentle lull of the Chalma River ease me into meditation. The luxury of this experience is not lost on me. That said, I really have no idea the luxury I'm about to encounter. I'm blown away when we get to our campsite. Patrick's river guide comrades arrived to our base camp earlier in the day and have already set up everything for us. Canvas-walled outfitter tents complete with cots, floor rugs, chairs, and every other amenity you can think of in a campsite. Well, thank you so much, Patrick. This was...
Oh, you're so welcome, Michael.
I didn't expect this much beauty and luxury, but you guys hit it on the mark.
Well, we're glad you came out.
Yeah.
Enjoyable.
It's going to be a fantastic evening. We'll get a little bit of cloud cover. Make a fantastic dinner. I think we have steak and
look fantastic.
Fresh seafood and tell some stories by the campfire. And
sounds good.
I mean, this is my way to spend an afternoon, drinking cold beer, eating some good food, hanging out in the wilderness. Can't get better than that.
Yeah, I totally agree.
And now they're getting our dinner prepared for us. Talk about being spoiled.
Eric, I think this fish is done.
Talk of all the streets, it was the talk of the town. Miss Maggie put on her red dress and threw back a swing. She said, come on over here, Miguel, I'll show you what it's like. I would say this rafting trip on the Rio Chalma has it all. The best of the great outdoors and wilderness, good food, and great people. And singing around the campfire makes for the quintessential camping experience. It simply doesn't get any better than this. So when you're craving a bit of indulgence in the great outdoors, here's some hints for your own Chalma River glamping experience. For our trip, our guide picked us up in Abiquiu, 1 hour north of Santa Fe, but pickup locations may vary. Fun yak or fish the Chalma River too. Fun yaks are always available on these trips, and you can bring your own fishing gear or arrange to have your guide provide it for you. Design your own Chalma raft trip. Have a gourmet chef, massage therapist, or yoga instructor become part of your experience. To plan your own glamping trip, go to newmexico.org. So as you can tell, I've enjoyed every minute of my time in the Chalma Valley. I highly encourage you to come out and see it for yourself. As always, thank you so much for watching New Mexico True Television. We'll see you next week, right here, same place, same time.